Movies are weird right now. I'm sure not everyone out there is really that tapped into the industry, but I think we all kind of have a sense that things are bleak.
A major billion-dollar merger deal between Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery.
Things are sad, things are whatever other bad adjective you want to use. Everything is getting worse, everything sucks. This is true for pretty much every aspect of life in our modern age, but there's something particularly nasty and grim about movies and the Hollywood machine. At a time where original, authentic art is being replaced by AI-generated abominations, and seemingly every high-ranking CEO is on a mission to kill everything pure and fun, a movie coming out and being genuinely good, and making money, and not being soulless is like a miracle. Obviously, the big stuff will always be successful. I don't think anyone out there is really that worried about the box office performance of the upcoming Mario Brothers movie or Frozen 5. But anything original, anything creative, anything not based on a book or a pre-existing franchise just doesn't make an impact in the same way it did. At least, this is the story you hear online. People don't care about original movies. They don't? People sure showed up for Oppenheimer. I get the movie's based on a real person, but still, the movie is mostly grown men wearing big suits talking in an office, and it made nearly $1 billion. Okay, fine, it's based on a book written about a guy who was real and did real things. I get it. What about Sinners then? While vampires aren't exactly the most original idea in Hollywood, this is an original movie written and directed by one guy. This guy's name is Ryan Coogler, and he did a heck of a job. The phrase instant classic gets thrown around a lot, but I really feel like Sinners is one of the most undeniable films to come out in recent years. Nope made nearly $200 million. 28 years later made $150 million. All I'm saying is people do crave good movies. There are people out there who still care about movies. People still want to see something they haven't seen before. You'd think in the age of streaming, where we have access to millions of shows and documentaries and movies and everything in between at the push of a button, the amount of good art, or at least access to good art, would increase, but it's actually the opposite. However, despite a lot of negativity when it comes to movies and the entertainment industry, writers, directors, actors, producers are all still trying weird things. You just kind of have to look harder for it. Steven Soderbergh recently directed a film shot entirely from the perspective of a ghost. They also just remade the story of Hamlet entirely in Grand Theft Auto 5. Harmony Korine dropped this. People are still doing cool stuff. But are you seeing it? I've made it my mission this year to try and watch things that don't really even interest me, which brought me to a little film called Iron Lung. This isn't to say I wasn't interested in the idea of the movie itself, but let's just say the trailer didn't move me.
Is that so wrong? Why doesn't anybody else want that?
There were many legitimate reasons to think Iron Lung would be a failure. Starting at the very top, how many movies based on video games do you know that are good? Actually, wait, how many movies based on video games can you even name? My mind instantly goes to Doom, Mortal Kombat, Hitman, Assassin's Creed. None of these turned out to be that good. None were really ever in the conversation when Oscar season came around.
I've got the Oscar fever, hope you got it too.
Still, I'd be lying to myself if I said there wasn't still something compelling, interesting even, about a motion picture inspired by a video game. In a way, turning video games into movies is sacrilegious. Video games are arguably the most immersive and interactive forms of art we have right now. Like cinema, a video game is experienced via screen. It shines bright in your office, your bedroom, your garage, your dungeon, and you can stare at the pretty colors and hear all of the music. But a video game requires you to do the things yourself. You're responsible for the story moving forward. Using them as inspiration for a movie, something completely linear, really kind of doesn't make any sense then. Companies try to translate success of games into ticket sales, and this mostly never works. They might make a little bit of money, but the movie usually isn't good. Or the opposite happens and the movie doesn't make any money, but fans like it. But there's something cool about challenging oneself to turn a playable game into a 2.5 hour long thing you can only sit and watch. Most video game adaptations range from bad to awful. Iron Lung is a curious case then, because it's made a ton of money and it's actually really good. Let's start with the elephant in the room here. A big part of this film's success stems from its director and writer, Mark Fishbach, a world-famous YouTuber. The name Markiplier might not ring a bell for those who didn't spend their summers out of school glued to the YouTube homepage, but Markiplier is a huge name, maybe the biggest in the entire creator space.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and I am a fish. Hello everybody, my name is Welcome. Was that the bite of it? Welcome.
There were bigger giants before, and there have been bigger giants to come after him, but Markiplier has managed to remain relevant, interesting, and free of any serious controversy throughout his decade-plus career. I'm not sure how he set his sights on this game in particular to make a movie about it, but somehow, some way, this uber-rich, uber-popular YouTuber decided to hunker down and put his filmmaking skills to the test. And boy, this guy has some serious chops. Ironlung feels like a throwback to a simpler time. It's evocative of early John Carpenter and maybe even David Cronenberg. It's dry, it's obviously pretty cheaply done, and it relies on a lot of suspension of disbelief. The presentation is quite flat, and the main emotional core of the film relies squarely on the shoulders of someone who may or may not be the ideal choice for this type of movie. But darn it. As a subversive, daring, formal experiment helmed by a YouTuber, Ironlung is pretty incredible. Ironlung is about a guy who is forced to pilot a submarine through an ocean made of blood. The world is implied to be post-apocalyptic, and there's very few people around doing things. We don't really know much about this world because the entirety of the movie, just like the game, takes place inside a windowless submarine. This premise may sound like the movie itself is an endurance test, but I actually found that the 2+ hour runtime went down pretty smoothly. Markiplier holds your attention both as an actor as well as a director. The guy also wrote the film too. I really am impressed in how this came together. The main challenge here was trying to make a game where you do this for 2 hours. Exciting. Mark didn't take the easy route here by adding side characters and flashbacks and flash forwards and all this extra stuff to make the movie more interesting than the game would have been playing. No, you spend the entire runtime down here with him and the submarine. That's kind of it, and it's glorious. I do have problems with the movie, the biggest one being that it's not really that scary. The original game is a fun little experiment and it's obviously quite bare bones, but the horror part of it is exceptional. As you slowly start to understand how to navigate your submarine, this sense of dread and terror grows and wraps around you. It's kind of the inverse with the movie, where it's not all that scary, but the film demands a lot more of your attention. It's ironic to me then that the highest criticism of the movie that I've seen is that it's too slow, as I actually think it digs into the action way too quickly. In the game, you don't even know there's other things swimming around you for quite a while. In the movie, Markiplier knows there's a big whale or shark or alien fish around him in mere minutes. This kind of takes the tension out of the remaining hour and a half of the film. The bigger issue is that most of the game's horror comes from the agency it gives the player. You can sit in your submarine forever and not move, but it's a game, so you'll want to play it, and as you do, strange things start to happen. Progression doesn't come in the form of new costumes or cutscenes, it comes with the subtle creak of the sub's hull or the slow drip of blood down the wall. The movie is forced to take this agency away from viewers because, well, it's a movie. There's no getting around this, but Ironlung as an idea, as an experience, movie, or video game feels best set up to scare your younger brother as he tries to play it on your laptop at midnight, rather than a 2-hour-long indie film you go and watch with your family in the theater. Still, if you're looking for something different, full of actual passion, talent, and heart, and a genuine can-do attitude, Ironlung is here for you. If you're the kind of person who thinks a movie about a single guy doing math in a submarine is boring, well, Ironlung probably isn't for you. And that's okay, because that honestly does sound boring. Obviously, I wasn't excited to see this movie after watching the trailer, but I figured I have my AMC A-List membership to use. I'm free. I had nothing to do in the afternoon. Why not swing by, check it out? I played the game before. I know who Markiplier is. This is a unique situation. Why not see it out? And I'm glad I did. I don't know. All I'm saying is that as a film based on a video game, written and directed and edited and starring a YouTuber, this is pretty amazing stuff. The fact that this movie, with a $3 million budget, made $21 million on its opening weekend, it was all self-funded by the way, is awesome stuff. It's really exciting to see. It makes me excited for the movie industry, even though we all know they're going to take all of the wrong lessons and learnings from this. I expect to see a bunch of random YouTubers attached to junky horror movies going forward, but what Mr. Markiplier did with Ironlung is truly special. It's something we should be excited about. It's something we should be happy about. It's something that we should want to see happen. and I applaud him. Yeah, I was kind of blown away by how much I enjoyed it. It's a slow burn. As a horror film, I don't think it totally works, but as this weird YouTuber-driven experiment in filmmaking and stepping out of your comfort zone, I think this is an amazing project, and it's a satisfying, well-made little movie. Good job, Markiplier.